If there's one question that I hear more than anything else from gym owners, it's how do I get more leads? And then following that nearly immediately is how do I get more higher quality leads for my gym? And I get it. Without a consistent flow of new leads, your gym it can't grow. It's really that simple. So if you don't know how to get leads, in the next 30 seconds, I'm gonna share with you over 10 different ways that you can get leads for your gym, but just having more options in how to get leads doesn't actually solve most gym owners' problems. So instead of actually just creating overwhelm for you, I'm gonna share with you exactly what you should be doing to get high quality leads for your gym today. And hey, if you don't know who I am, what's going on? My name is Bob Thompson and I'm one of the co-founders of Gym Academy, and let's dive right into it. And I'm gonna give you 10 different ways that you can get leads for your gym tomorrow. 1, Facebook and Instagram, also known as meta ads. Google PPC campaigns, local partnerships, or complementary businesses. I'm gonna try and do this all in one breath. Referral programs with your existing members, content marketing through blogs and videos, fitness challenges and contests, local events and community outreach, email marketing campaigns, search engine optimization for local search, and local influencers and community ambassadors. But again, now we have all of these options. So gym owners end up doing kind of like one or two things. They fall into one of these camps. They either try and do everything at once, which as results just spreads themselves too thin and they get mediocre results across the board, or they get paralyzed by all of the choices and end up doing nothing consistently. And that may even sound familiar for you. But after helping over 300 gym owners just in the last 12 months grow their businesses, we've used just about every single lead generation on that list, every single one of those methods on that list we have used. But I wanna share with you which one of these methods you should be using that can consistently deliver 30 to 50 high quality leads every single week. And this is the foundation of what we call the one successful campaign. There is one method that just outperforms everything else when it comes to predictable, scalable, consistent lead flow for your gyms. But here is where it gets interesting. 87% of gym owners who have tried this method end up failing and wasting thousands of dollars, not even all the hours and time by this not working. But you're probably wondering, why do so many fail? It's because they're making critical mistakes in actually how to set up and manage this method. And of course, I am talking about advertising on Meta. And in my work with all of the gym owners, as well as my own gyms, I have identified the 5 biggest Meta ad mistakes that are costing you tons of money and tons of quality leads and future clients for your gym. The first thing is you're using the wrong campaign objective. The second thing is you are targeting audiences that are just not a good fit for your gym, or too broad or too narrow. You are creating ads. Number 3, creating ads that look like every other gym in town. 4, you're doing absolutely nothing to increase the quality of that lead. And the last one, number 5, which is probably the most important mistake of all, is you're running shitty offers that nobody actually wants. But I'm not gonna talk about it today, but there is one more critical mistake that gym owners make that probably costs them more money than anything else once they get these leads, and it's what happens after somebody opts in. Again, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna go into detail on that in another video, but instead today, I am gonna share with you our 5-component lead generation system for gyms that has consistently then and now delivered and delivering high quality leads for under $10, under $5 to gyms all across not just the US, but actually the world, because we have clients outside of the US as well where this is working. And we do call this the self-liquidating client getting system, because when you actually do this properly, when you actually know how to advertise on Meta, it is never an expense, but it's actually a profit center for your gym. And this isn't just theory. This is the exact system that Larry, one of our clients, used to add $8,000 in monthly recurring revenue to his gym in just his first 19 days with us. So if you are tired of the confusion around lead gen and you want a clear, proven path to getting quality leads for your gym, then stay with me for the next 17 minutes, because by the end of this video, you will know exactly which type of meta ads you need to run, how to target the right people, what your ads should say, and most importantly, what offers actually work right now. And I do believe that this could be the most profitable information that you've ever learned, not just with gym marketing, but actually running your gym, period. Because when this is done properly from an advertising level, not only does it give you leads, but if you are like right now running ads, it'll actually make them so that they pick up their phone, respond to your text messages, and then most importantly, show up to your gym. And we've seen with people that are currently running ads that what we are going to cover in this video leads to like doubling of show up rates, dramatically cutting the lead cost down by 50%, 75% or more, while reducing the cost per acquisition, because now more quality people are coming into the gym pre-sold. And if you've never run ads before, you're gonna know how to do that right out the gate properly. Now, before I dive in, let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Bob Thompson. I built a multi-7-figure per year gym business. I had 8 locations, and I was able to continuously scale and run this business while working less than 10 hours per week in them. And it's because of these systems that I had in place with scaling my gyms that I was able to then have the freedom during this time to do what I want, when I want, which now continues today, which is why I get to have this video from you in the beautiful state of Montana. But none of this would have happened if I did not have a predictable, a consistent way to get new leads every single day for my gyms. And then in the last 12 months, I've helped over 300 gym owners grow their gyms using the systems that I'm about to share with you. And even though I personally have spent over $1 million on ads, right now we spend hundreds of thousands of dollars for hundreds of locations every single month on Meta. So I share that because one, like we're working on all this stuff right now and we have tons of data and inputs to back up everything that I'm going to share with you today. But enough about me. I talked a little bit about Larry earlier with you. He does own a semi-private gym, and he is what is possible for you. He's in a competitive market in New York, not downtown, but like upstate New York. And before working with us, he had actually never run ads before. Reason being is he had a bad experience with another digital marketing company, and he just kind of let it taint him for that because, well, he had a justifiably bad experience. We then did help him implement the system that I am going to show you. And within just 19 days, he added $8,000 in his monthly recurring revenue while spending just over $500 on ads. I'll repeat that. He added $8,000 in monthly recurring revenue while spending just over $500 in ads. And yes, I will show you what that looks like later. But for you to know, that's a 16x return on ad spend in less than 3 weeks. And if you're like a marketer, that's pretty effing good. The best part about this though is when we put this system into his business, he did have to turn ads off because his calendar was too full with appointments. Now, I'm gonna show you this exact system that did make this possible. And if you wanna generate these high quality, these low cost leads for your gym, then you do need to have these 5 critical components working together that I'm about to go over. Number 1 is the unique mechanism approach. Number 2 is hyper-specific avatar targeting. Number 3 is the perfect ad formula. 4 is strategic friction. And then finally, probably the most important, is the irresistible offer creation framework. So let's break down each one of those. Number 1, the unique mechanism approach. The biggest reason that most gyms ads fail is they look like every other gym in the market. Get fit, lose weight, join now. Your potential clients are numb to these generic messages. So what we do need to do is what we call a unique mechanism, which is a specific approach or method that only your gym offers. With the unique mechanism, it doesn't have to be like completely original. It just needs to be positioned uniquely. For example, instead of just saying like, hey, we run a weight loss program, you might position it as the metabolic reset protocol. Instead of saying like group training, you call it 3D training system. While these may just seem like you're slapping a clever name on something, it is actually about articulating your approach in a way that stands out and creates curiosity. I'm gonna repeat that, it's super important. It's about articulating your approach in a way that stands out and then creates curiosity. But when you have a unique mechanism, not only does it like help drop your cost per lead because people are actually intrigued by like, hey, something different. They want to learn more about the specific approach that they haven't heard of before. And since they haven't heard of it before, they can't compare it to anything else they've tried. In fact, it's actually a good reason for them to say why everything else did not work so that we can give them that hope as to why you're actually different. And for you, it actually does a few things. Now we're positioning ourselves in a different way. You could even, especially with how we package it, allow you to actually charge more and get people even more bought in, getting better results. I don't have it in here, but just real quick, I had a good example of this is a company you know, especially if you're in fitness, which is P90X and Muscle Confusion. Eventually, it was just at-home training, but that's how they were really able to take market share within their marketing. If you can create yours by taking a look at your current training methodology and just ask yourself a couple questions to kind of start figuring this out. One, what is different in how we approach fitness? Two, what specific sequence or combination of methods do we use that maybe we can come up with this? Or what's a unique philosophy that guides our approach that we can then incorporate? Or what specific outcome do you deliver that others don't, that others can't say? Or what could you name this approach that would make someone curious? These are all ways that you can start creating your unique mechanism to help your marketing stand out to every other gym inside of your market. Number two, and we're gonna get a little bit technical on this one of the biggest reasons that marketing, especially on advertising on Meta, doesn't work for people is they, one, don't have their unique mechanism, but then like they can't get any of their messaging and any of their marketing in front of the right people because they're not following hyper-specific avatar targeting. Now, this is where most gym owners make two critical mistakes. Number one, their targeting is just way off. Or number two, their campaign objectives are just like completely wrong. So I'm gonna start with number two. I'm gonna start with the campaign setup because this is the technical foundation that everything else is built upon. And the most common mistakes that I actually see are using traffic or engagement campaigns instead of like conversion or lead gen campaigns, or doing stuff like optimizing for video views or landing page views instead of deeper funnel actions. And then all of a sudden people are like, oh, well, look at all these metrics. Of course, it's a cheap cost per click. It's a shitty cost per click. But then also failing to use the metapixel correctly on like thank you pages and throughout the backend to then send data back into your Meta advertising system. But when you choose the wrong campaign objective, you're literally telling Facebook to find you the wrong people. That's why this is so important. So if you're using some of those higher funnel metrics, what you're actually doing is you're saying, hey, get me those people that will click but not convert. So for gym owners, we found two campaign types that typically and consistently outperform all others. Number one is campaign conversions. These are optimized for specific actions on your website, like submitting a lead form or booking an appointment. It's like sending to an external funnel. Or number two, just lead generation campaigns on platform, on Meta, on Facebook, on Instagram that has a form that can potentially autofill their information, but it's an on-platform lead gen form. Now, both have their place. For most gyms, honestly, we actually just stick with lead forms, lead ads on Meta because they will consistently deliver a lower cost per lead at a higher volume. We always want quality lead and the volume of lead. And I'll talk about the caveat there in a second. And as of like a result of doing this, we'll see like $3 leads, $5 leads, $10 leads instead of lead costs of $30, $40, and $50, especially people come to us and they're using the wrong funnel. Now, what is interesting is what we actually noticed through a ton of tests is the lead to sale conversion, which is the most important metric, usually does not change whether we're using lead forms or if we're using funnels. And I'll talk about why later. So that's why we generally will prefer for most clients to actually just keep it on platform, keep using Meta. This reduces friction. There's no conversion rate optimization. There's no page loading time. There's no funnel setup. And frankly, it doesn't take people off of Meta, which Meta actually does like, but we still get their information so that we can put them through our sales process. Now, let's get a little bit deeper and let's start talking about targeting because this has changed significantly inside of Meta. And there's two ways to target, but like now primarily it is through your messaging and people just haven't quite caught up to that. One thing that gym owners make a mistake on is they make their targeting way too broad. They go after like any human being between the ages of 25 and 54 remotely near me, or like they'll get a little bit more specific and just be like, men who want to lose weight. The problem with this broad messaging is it's actually tough for Meta to really get dialed in on your ideal client. So as a result, your ads become more expensive to reach people because of actually how you're targeting them, because everybody's going after the same person. But yet, you're still sending your ads to the wrong people anyway. Yes, you're gonna have some people in that pocket, but we can actually laser it in a lot more and get hyper specific. So we wanna use what we call avatar segmentation. So, and I am gonna get this out of the way before people are like, oh, well, what about interest-based targeting, if you even know what that is? Interest-based targeting still is a thing, but it just does not work, especially locally. And for some reason, if your market did respond to interest-based marketing, you'd wanna still make sure you get really specific, like moms of elementary children, or women who work full-time, or interest in menopause, instead of just like going after the interests of women who want to lose weight or fitness. So again, while there is some targeting like interest levels you can do, it's really not going to be that. It actually comes down to your messaging, which is actually going to attract your ideal client. What we want to do is we want to use our ads, we want to use the messaging as well to then cut through all of the noise in your market, and we want to attract like a magnet our ideal client and repel those who are a bad fit. That's where the messaging comes into play. Now, something I am going to mention on a little bit more tactical targeting level is stop targeting people who are not even close to your gym. Depending on your market, you're going to want to make sure you hit those that are within like a 3, 5, or like 7 mile radius, with the rare exception for like 10 miles and maybe more rural markets, not just like 15 miles, even 10 miles for most people. You want to make sure you're avoiding it. You're getting really specific to those who actually will drive to your gym. Most people are not willing to drive more than 15 minutes to go somewhere. I don't care how good you are. So when you get hyper specific, it does two things. It lowers your cost per click, which then lowers your cost per lead, but also it increases the quality of the lead because you've repelled people who are a bad fit. So in order for you to actually apply this, one, set your campaign setup properly, optimizing for the lead with none of the higher funnel metrics and all that stuff. And then number 2, target your audience who will actually come to your gym. And then 3, I don't have it in there, make sure your messaging is dialed in to actually do the targeting for you. So once we have that dialed in, number 3 is the perfect ad formula. This is the third component. This is like the actual ad content. Often this is called like the ad creative. And this is where everybody's screwing up. After testing hundreds of different ad formats across all of our clients, we have discovered a consistent like 3-part formula that actually makes us up and outperforms everything else. It's the hook, the body, and the close. Inside of the hook, this is like the lead of your ad. This is like, we love it when you can start with like a pattern interrupt with super strong like entry into it, maybe tease of some capacity to get their attention. But every single strong ad has to have a really strong hook, but you do, especially on social media where they're just mindlessly scrolling through the phone, you have to get their attention. You have to make sure it's not just looking like all the other crap. Number 2, that body, there's a couple different formats and frameworks that we can use just inside of here. But ultimately what we want to do a lot of times is we want to like go deeper into that problem. We want to then agitate it and then give them a solution. Or another way to look at that is if in my hook, if I tease them to get their attention, then I want to then please them on what I tease them on. Like, hey, if I tease you with this is actually how we make that happen. Number 3 is your close. This is just simply your call to action. What do they need to do to actually go get whatever you're promoting in your ad? Or for you, like, how do I seize their information? So before I break down this formula, let me just address like another major problem I see with most gym ads, by the way, is they just all look the effing same. So scroll through Facebook, like probably you're seeing this potentially in there right now too. But if you saw it, you'll see dozens of ads for gyms that just use the exact same images, like stock generic photos, maybe some boring ass text on it, or just like empty gym equipment because they think that actually matters to people. These images are just visual white noise, and your potential clients have been conditioned to scroll right past them. This is why, and this is going to piss off a lot of people. I literally got off a call this morning, the new client who was like, I've been told never to do this. This is why video absolutely has to be part of your strategy. And in fact, when you use video, it's not just in replacement, it's in combination with static images. But what we see is like video has a 3 to 5 times higher engagement rate with video. You have a 25 to 40% lower lead cost once you know how to actually do videos. And you get a 25% better lead quality with videos. But not just any video works. The most effective videos are going to contain a couple components here. One, it's like authenticity. You can just record it from your iPhone, raw, genuine. It outperforms like super high end. So just because you're like, hey, I got to do videos, don't go hire a videographer to come in and do all that stuff, especially if you don't have everything dialed in to like actually make your marketing effective. Number 2 is you got to have like pattern breaking opens. You got to stop their scroll. The first 3 seconds has to get their attention. Don't do logos, don't do intros, don't start with something super boring or anything like that. Lead with something that's going to get their attention and make them want to keep listening and watching. And number 3, use like real clients, don't use models. So actual members who are their target audience, not like, unless you're already a client, it's like a fitness model, not those kind of people. But also really, really important, what actually does not work as videos for your ads, workouts. That actually scares more people away than anything. So don't use that. Now let me get back to the 3-part formula for the actual content. First, we have to hook them in. The pattern interrupt is something that's going to be unexpected that stops the scroll. This could be like a controversial statement, a surprising statistic, or like an unusual image that like, they're like, oh, what is this? And then they get hooked in. So for example, a good one would be like, women of town, the fitness industry has lied to you. They're like, oh my gosh, have I been lied to? And like, they're going to be interested. Or, man, has your gut grown, but your confidence hasn't? Like, it's another way. We could talk about putting like an ad voice on, but that's a whole nother story. Next, we got to keep their interest. So the second is we got to, bring them into the problem, agitation, solution sequence, which works well in most markets. Or you can tease them with what we're going to go over if you led with that, which I'll discuss in step 5. But with this problem, agitation, solution sequence, you are going to identify the specific problem that your avatar faces. You're going to agitate why that problem is worse than they may realize. And then you're going to position your unique mechanism as the solution. When we do that, finally, we have to close them. Yes, you are selling them, but you're selling them on the next step of what you want them to do in your ads. You're not selling them to buy your shit, which is a huge problem that people think. And a little bit more on that later. But in the third step, we want to tell them exactly what to do. We want to make a lot of our marketing seem like it's built for a third grader, but it's like, hey, go ahead and don't just say like, sign up now or join today, which will create resistance, but be like, hey, to go find out more, take our 60-second body type quiz or watch our free training on the 3 metabolism mistakes that you're probably making, which are way more effective than just being like, buy my stuff, stranger on the internet, which is what most people do. And then they wonder why it doesn't actually work if they even include a call to action in the first place. But as I mentioned earlier, I do want to put a caveat. Your ads are not designed to sell your product. Your ads are designed to get their attention and then bring them in. So my ads, the creative, is then selling them on taking the next step, which is opting in when we're doing lead gen. Now, this formula does work. And if you do it properly, it will pre-sell them in having that desire. So it does make your sales processes easier. That's why they pick up. That's why they actually show up, because a lot of what the legwork that happened in the marketing. Good creative is going to grab attention, connect emotionally, and make it easy for them to say yes to the next step without feeling like pressured. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. When you combine this with that authentic video content that stands you out from the crowd because none of your competition is doing it, and even if they are not you, your conversion rates will double. They will triple. How do you go ahead and implement this? Just play in your video, grab your iPhone, get the perfect ad formula, this 3-step process. Make sure that first 3 seconds are scroll stopping. If you're sharing client results, make sure you're focusing on those real client results. In the beginning, keep them under 60 seconds. As you get really good, the question is, how long should they be? They can be as long as you want, as long as they're good. And then a big thing is, don't just do one, test multiple creative approaches, multiple angles, different hooks, all that, but maintain the perfect ad formula when you're actually going ahead and making this. From there, we're then going to go into the 4th component, which is strategic friction. And this is the 4th reason why so many people who advertise on Meta, their shit just doesn't work. And this is probably going to go against a lot of what people said when it comes to advertising, because most experts will tell you to remove as much friction as possible from your lead generation process. Make it easiest for them to opt in, like just put their email in, no barriers, all that. And that's a lot of times why gym owners end up with terrible quality leads, which the counterintuitive truth that I've discovered after thousands of campaigns at this point is the easier you make it for somebody to become a lead, the lower the quality of that lead is going to be. And usually people make it really easy because the rest of their marketing sucks, so that's the only way they can do it. Anyway, but let me explain why this matters. When you use like a typical lead form that only asks for their name and their email, you will get these leads. But your cost per lead, and so as a result, your cost per lead will look impressive. But they have no skin in the game. They haven't demonstrated any real commitment or interest. They clicked a button that took 2 seconds. It might have even auto-populated. So you get low connect rates, low book rates, low show rates, poor conversions, and like you're gonna start saying that these leads suck, advertising doesn't work, which is not the truth. Instead, you need to strategically add friction to your lead generation process by doing things like multi-step forms instead of single-step forms, or qualification questions that make people think or actually take some action, making sure you are 100% getting a phone number and not just their email. And then you can even add like higher intent by throwing some sort of commitment statements that they must check to even submit the form. And when you actually do this, yeah, your total lead cost might go down, but the quality of lead skyrockets. And with a higher quality lead, a lower cost per acquisition will happen. And generally what we've seen by adding the strategic friction into accounts, you might get about 20 to 30% fewer leads, but generally you're going to see like 70 to 80% higher show rates, 50 to 60% better connection or conversion rates into actual paid clients, and an overall lower cost per acquisition. And this is important because, I don't think getting 20 leads a day is actually what you want. You want to get 10 higher quality leads than 30 lower quality leads. And strategic friction will actually kick out those tire kickers that ensure that you're only talking to people who are actually interested. So in order for you to implement this, use strategic friction points, use multi-step forms, add qualification questions relevant to your ideal client, require complete contact information like their phone number, and then set clear expectations about the next step. And you can 100% test these different levels to find the sweet spot for your gym. And what I'm about to talk about now, which is the fifth component as to why ads don't work for most gym owners, which is creating an offer that people actually want. And I think it's important to understand the people are your future clients, not you. The interests aren't always aligned. And I can't tell you how many gym owners I see running ads for generic offers like a free 7-day trial, no enrollment free, or first session free. These offers are trash city. They just do not work as effectively as all the other ones that you have at your fingertips. And sure, you may get some leads, but you're also attracting the same low-hanging fruit as everyone else, which means you're targeting the most competitive environment. And really, you're not even addressing the real reasons that people don't join gyms, which we'll talk about in a second. But when you actually just go for these like really kind of low barrier, low offer kind of front ends, you're actually only going for like the 3% of your market that's actively looking for a gym. And every single one of your competitors is going for this group, and they probably already have a gym at that. Derek Alpert, an amazing marketer, says it's harder to get somebody to switch than getting somebody to start something new. So when I can tap into the 97 other percent of my market that nobody else is going to, it becomes a blue ocean for me, which means really, really good things are about to happen. But also I want you to remember why this is really important when I talk about, then I'll show you how to actually make this happen, is we're the weird ones. We love fitness. Something happened which got us into it. We're selling something that people need, but often hate until of course they join your gym. And then we change all of that and they become addicted. So how do we actually do this? How do we actually talk to our ideal client? We have to remember what they're really motivated by. 1, getting results fast. That's what they want. 2, minimizing the risk of failure. And 3, they want a shorter term commitment. You want them to come for the year. They want to try it out for a shorter time, and then they'll be willing to do it. And if your product is good, we'll be able to make that happen. Let me show you 2 offers. One, you're absolutely going to hate. This other one, you may actually really like, but these offers convert like 2 to 3 times better than what we just talked about earlier, those Trash City offers. So one, here's an example of putting this into play, is the 28-day metabolic reset challenge instead of like a free trial or 7 days free. The next one, which everyone hates and is burned out to all high heaven, is the free 6-week challenge. But think about why it works when we talk about earlier is results fast, minimizing risk of failure, and shorter term commitment. Now, both of these are better than like what we talked about earlier. They're still 2 of my least favorites, but it is an example of a better offer. So how can you make a better offer that none of your competition has? There's 3 components that need to be in it. We call this our offer codex. The first component of that is your outcome. What was the specific result that they will achieve, or the promise that you're making that they're going to get when they become a member of your gym? 2 is the duration. What's the time frame that they have to go in order to get this outcome? People want to know exactly what they're committing to. They want to know exactly what they're getting. And also, just so you know, if they're a stranger, which like good advertising starts bringing strangers, that's how you can actually scale a gym into your business. They're willing to commit to like a shorter time period than being like, yeah, I got to join for a year when they just met you yesterday. It's like, if you go and meet somebody on the first date, you're not literally at the end of the date being like ready to get married. Let's go, like spend the rest of our lives together. Then finally, the third component is guarantee. We got to have risk reversal. How are you removing the risk of them trying, especially knowing that all your competitors are trash and have burned these people in the past when they tried it out, because unless you're selling a 3-year-old, chances are they've tried something in fitness and haven't had success. So I have to help overcome their limiting beliefs. And the cool thing is, guys, just if you do one thing out of this video, you change your offer, you could cut your lead costs in more than half, which we've seen this just time and time again. For example, we had a client of ours who was part of a bigger like gym franchise, and they always they're super known for running a plethora of these like kind of lower end offers, like free session or 3 classes for $25. And he could not get his lead costs under 40 bucks. And leads was a huge issue inside of his business. We changed his offer and leads came in for under $5. Same ad spend, same targeting, completely different results. So why is this important? No amount of technical optimization can overcome a weak offer. Sure, you can be a savage marketer with the best ad copy, the best creative, and it'll help. But why put lipstick on a pig? Your offer is the foundation of your lead generation system. So make sure you're leading into your market with the best one you possibly can, and one that is different and unique from every other one of your competitors. So those are the 5 components of a successful gym lead gen system. 1, the unique mechanism. 2, hyper-specific avatar targeting. 3, the perfect ad formula. 4, strategic friction. And number 5, irresistible offer creation. When you get all 5 of these components working together, baby, magic happens. Your cost per lead drops, your show-up rates increase, and your calendar fills with qualified prospects who are ready to buy. Just like it did for Larry, who we talked about earlier. Now remember, earlier, he wasn't using any sort of paid advertising system. He was relying entirely on word of mouth, like referrals, in order to grow his semi-private gym. In a good month, he might get like 3 to 5 new clients, but there was no consistency to it at all. He was hesitant to try ads because he had heard like horror stories from other gym owners about wasting thousands of dollars on them. But here's exactly what we did for him. First, we did develop his unique mechanism. Second, we created hyper-specific targeting for his primary avatar. Third, we crafted multiple ads using the 3-part formula in the perfect ad framework, making sure that they didn't get ignored, but most importantly, they attracted his ideal client while repelling bad fits. Fourth, we added strategic friction to his lead prospects by making sure his clients were leads were kind of jumping through some hoops before they could even come in, making him even more qualified. And then fifth, we created an offer that was unique to his gym and not something generic, not just a free 6-week challenge or a free week. The results, his lead cost $4.50, as you can see right here. 92% response rate to when they reached out. 68% of leads booked appointments. 72% of those booked appointments showed up. 65 of those appointments converted into sales. Within 19 days, Larry had signed up 16 new clients with an average value of $500 per month, adding $8,000 in monthly recurring revenue for spending a total of $774.83 on these ads. And since then, he's regularly adding about $6,000 to $8,000 per month to his recurring revenue. Now, here's the cool thing. The best part of this is not some fluke. This is not a lucky break that he had. We've replicated these results across hundreds of gyms in different markets and even completely different models, whether it's urban markets, suburban markets, rural markets, large group, small group, boutique fitness, CrossFit, boot camps. Did I say that twice? Nope. Personal training studios. The system works regardless of your gym type or location because it's based on human psychology and proven direct response principles. So, how can you implement this in your gym? You have a few options. 1, you can try and build this yourself with the framework I just shared for you. 2, you can continue struggling with like low quality leads or low conversion rates. Or 3, you can let us do it with our proven done for you system. So if you are serious about growing your gym and you want to skip the trial and error, I'd like to invite you to book a free demo with our team. On this call, we will analyze not just your current lead gen system, but your entire acquisition process to identify the gaps and show you exactly how we can implement our self-liquidating client getting system into your gym. And we've helped hundreds of gym owners just like you double or even triple their qualified leads while cutting their cost per acquisition in half, which means they get to grow their gyms exponentially, adding hundreds of thousands of dollars, I shit you not, in the first 12 months. So if you want to go ahead and book that demo, get on that strategy call, then all you got to do is click the link wherever it is around this video. It might be above, it might be below, it might be literally over my face. I don't actually know where the link is going to be, but go ahead and click it, because with the right system in place, you can dramatically not just lower your cost per lead, you can increase your show rates, you can increase your conversions, and you can grow your gym predictably and consistently. So anyway, I hope this training was valuable for you. So if you have any questions, just drop them in the comments below and I will personally respond. And don't forget to book your free demo to get on that call if you are ready to learn more, get deeper into it, and then implement the system into your gym. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode where I then show you how to get these leads to actually show up.